Okay, we're going to be talking to you and giving you some tips. This will be one of many conversations I have with you with video over the webcam that I'm looking at right now. And hopefully in the process it'll help you understand some things a little bit better that you'll need to know. This is primarily for the online classes, 80N, 81N, and 83N. The 05N face-to-face class can listen to some of this, and maybe it'll help them too, but we'll see what happens. Let's start with the things that you need to pay attention to. A lot of you are already off to a bad start. I'll be very blunt. The announcements. You need to have looked at the announcements. There were a lot of things in there you needed to have done already, and many of you either haven't read the announcements or are totally ignoring what those announcements tell you to do. So let's talk about it a little bit. One of the announcements is how to send me an email. It very specifically says what must be in the subject line of every email you send me. And it varies according to what class you're in. So please read how to send me an email and make sure the subject line of your email follows that convention, because when I get an email, that subject line, it automatically puts it into that class's folder. If you don't address it properly, it won't get in that folder. You won't get credit for something that you've done in this class you need to have credit for. So follow that direction. The other thing, by now you should have sent me a fantasy name. I still don't have fantasy names from most of you in the online classes. When you send the fantasy name, you're also supposed to send me a copy of a photo ID. Need I say the copy of the photo ID needs to be one that I can actually see and that I can clearly see your face because I compare it to the person giving the speech? All right. If you haven't done the photo ID and the fantasy name, be sure you do it. Now, fantasy name. Some of you that did actually send me a fantasy name didn't apparently read the directions. One word. Even if there are no spaces when you do it, like Cubs win or Go Colts, that's still one word. Mere fact you didn't put a space in there doesn't make it one word. All right? No numbers. So if you send me something that says doggy 611, sorry, that is not in keeping with what I've asked you to do. Following directions in this class will be absolutely crucial. So please make sure you follow the directions. Discussion board. All right. When you go into the class sessions, you will see in each session there is a discussion board. Whatever you do, do not do the discussion board, even try to do it in a class session. In the tabs on the left-hand side of Blackboard is a tab called Discussions. That's where you do the discussion board. You have 1 week to do each discussion board. It opens up Monday morning at 8 a.m. It'll close the following Sunday at 11:59 p.m. While I'm on that topic, because there's going to be a tendency for a lot of you to wait till the last minute, there are, let's say, roughly 180,000 students in Ivy Tech. If all of them choose to do what you choose to do and wait till the last minute, I can pretty well guarantee that the servers will not have the capacity to handle that many people at one time. So you're much to your advantage if you get those assignments done and out of the way early, because I also guarantee you that if you have any problems, trying to get an answer on how to fix it is not going to happen. All right? So, word to the wise. In the 83N class, you're taking a 16-week class in 8 weeks. Everything you have to do is doubled up. While everyone else is doing 1 discussion board a week, you're doing 2. Make sure you do both discussion boards. Now let me talk about the discussion boards. We're not going to enforce it this week. We will next time. You have to post the first part of the discussion board by Wednesday at midnight. Do not do anything else except answer the questions by Wednesday at midnight. Beginning Thursday morning until the following Sunday at midnight, you must respond to someone else's posting. All right? There were 160 points in the discussion boards. If you look on a 1,000-point course, 160 points is a letter grade and a half. Do not leave points on the table in the discussion board. That is absolutely crucial, and people do it every semester. So in the discussion board, you've got potentially 10 points. 5 for doing the assignment right the first moment, 5 for doing it right the second part of it. If you mess up on either part of that, you cannot get 10 points. So if, for instance, you don't post your response until after Wednesday, you've missed all of the points by not doing the first thing you were supposed to do. If, for instance, where it says you're supposed to offer some advice or some ideas and things like that, you respond to someone else's posting by saying something like, nice job, I agree, or anything like that, you're not going to get the full points, maybe none, for doing that. So, word to the wise, make sure you do that. Let's talk about the textbook. Those of you in the online courses got the textbook as part of your tuition. How do you get to the textbook? Well, you go to the Communication and Tools section, click on that. When you get in there, there's like 2 columns of things. Should be on the left-hand side. Go down to where you see Bookshelf. On Bookshelf, click on that, and that should give you something where they want you to agree to the terms. Agree to the terms. Now, when you're looking for the textbook, don't look there. Now go into a session. Go to session 1. Go down to the bottom of session 1. You will see something there that says something like the art of public speaking, etc., etc. Click on that. Lo and behold, the textbook opens up. You will now have access to all of the chapters in the textbook, and that's where you will go to do whatever it is you need to do. If you have any problems at all, you need to contact your local distance education people. And in Bloomington, Indiana, the number to call, if you're in Bloomington, don't call it if you're in another campus, is area code 812-330-6262. Area code 812-330-6262. Only with questions about the textbook. If you have problems with Connect, that's a different phone number to call. All right. Now, the assignments, what you need to do each time, go into the class sessions, go down to where it says Assignments and Assessments. Click on that. Now you'll see a whole bunch of stuff you need to do. That's how you get to the exams. That's how you get to some of the things you're supposed to pay attention to in the assignments in a given week. That's where you'll find that. What else? Let's talk about this. See this camera shot? This is the only, listen carefully, because if you don't follow these directions, you're not going to do well in this course. This is the only shot I want to see, an inch or 2 above my head, and roughly bust line. Okay? Pretty easy. Only shot I want to see. Tell your cameraman to get this shot. Do not change it. Do not zoom in. Do not zoom out. Do not go left. Do not go right. This is the shot. If you should, in the manner of speaking, have a visual and you can't hold it up like this to show, you got it out here someplace, make all your references to it. That's fine. Then send me a copy of it. If you use PowerPoints and they're on a projection someplace else, send me a copy of the PowerPoints. While you're talking about them, I will look at them. Do not take a picture of this by moving the camera. Second point, this is difficult for the online people. In a normal speech class, you would do this because you're talking to people over there and people over there. But in this class, eye contact is huge as part of your score on each speech. Therefore, talk to the camera. That's me. You know, this short, fat, chubby old guy. You're talking to me. That's all I want to see is you talking to me. Now, I'll help you a little bit on this. I do a lot of television. I never see a piece of hardware. In fact, when I'm talking to someone on television, I can tell you how they're dressed, where they're sitting, if they have a cat or dog, what beverage they have in their hand or on the coffee table next to them. Whatever, I can describe it. Because when I'm talking to a person, not a piece of hardware. Another point. When you use your camera, you must use a tripod. I do not need something bouncing all up and down like this because your person doing the camera is all nervous and bouncing. I don't need them rubbing the edge of the camera, which we get sometimes. So let me adjust my camera here now that I messed it up. So make sure that we get no sound coming on the camera, no bouncing on the camera. Use a tripod. If you don't have a tripod, then place your camera on something that it'll be steady on, maybe a ladder or something like that, and shoot straight in. I want this level with your eyes, okay? So when you look at the camera, you're looking right straight in. I don't want you shooting up. I don't want you shooting down. I don't want you shooting from the side. Straight in, looking right at the eyes. This shot, okay? You got that? Now, your audience. You need an audience of 6 people, and yes, in answer to the question, the camera person is one of the 6. They must be present in the room. They can't be with you on Skype. They can't be with you in a picture on the table. They must be there, living, breathing, and present. Each of those people must pass in front of the camera, look at the camera for a second, and say, "My name is, and I am 16 years old," and leave. The next person comes in. "My name is, and I am 49 years old." Now, some people don't like to talk about their age. In that case, as they pass by the camera, look at the camera, smile, and say, "My name is, and I am over 21. Most people don't mind. I have people 78 years old say, "My name is so-and-so, and I'm 83 years old." Okay, fine. The age is not important. We've got to be able to know that they're over 16. That's the key. 16 or above. All right, what else? Camera. Do not zoom to this shot. There's a reason for that. Do you know what it is? The microphone is on the camera. If you zoom to this shot and your camera is way back there, you got the shot I want, but the microphone's way back there, and we get a lot of terrible room noise and stuff like that. Move the camera in. Get the shot. Get the microphone on the camera as close to me as possible, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to hear you. Kids, dogs, police monitors, telephone calls, cell phones, anything like that that could go off while you're giving your speech, control that. If you put the kids in a next door room, and they got a TV on, and I can hear the TV, it's distracting what you're trying to do. You must control the environment that you're speaking in. Believe it or not, wooden floors and dogs with fingernails. You would be amazed how much that distracts from what you're trying to say when I'm trying to listen. Look at your video before you send it. If it doesn't look good to you, don't send it to me. Do it again. Also, never but never, if this is your camera, this is the shot, never do this. I do not want to look at you sideways, laying horizontally in the picture. When you look at your video and you see that, redo it. You know, I mean, yeah, you can get a wider picture this way, but this is the way we need to see it. Do not do horizontal and send it to me that way. What else? Make sure that you come into the picture after your audience finishes introducing itself. Let them sit down, let the room get quiet. Look down, figure out what you're going to say, keep the first few words or sentence in your mind, look up at the camera, pause for a second, and go. Never but never, when you finish your speech, be saying something like, "And that's my speech," and you're already gone. "And that's my speech." Pause for a second. Have the cameraman turn off the camera or whatever. Do not leave while you are still talking. Couple of seconds before you do any of that. All right. I think for now that gives you a lot of stuff to think about. If you have any questions, I've said this all over, do not send me long, involved email messages. I do not have time to deal with 30, 60, 90 some people and answer every question in detail. Call me. I'm in my office a lot. Call me in the office. If you're ideally, you'll be near a computer, and between you looking at what you're looking at and me telling you what to look at, we can figure out something really, really quickly. All right? Fantasy name, camera, audience. You owe me the materials that it says to do. Never but never send me an email message other than from your Ivy Tech email to my Ivy Tech email. Make sure the subject line complies with what is stated in the announcements section. Make sure you stay up with the assignments. In the 83N course, Session 1 and Session 2 are the first week. Session 3 and Session 4 are the second week. There are 16 sessions. You've got 8 weeks to do everything. You'll be able to figure it out. The dates are there. If you detect what seems to be a problem with anything, contact me. We've already found a couple of things that were a little screwy, and we fixed that. I don't know what you see. You've got to let me know. All right? What else? Call me in the office if you have any questions. We're not going to be overly nutso about anything on the practice speech, but folks, you got to hit the ground running. Make sure you follow those directions. Practice speech in the online classes, and then right after that, you have a self-introduction speech. That one is graded. The practice speech is just to make sure you follow directions and get this camera shot and make sure I can hear you and all those kinds of things. Okay, have any questions? Give me a shout. These kinds of things will be posted on YouTube, and we will post one maybe more than between speeches, but this is how we will critique your speeches. I will critique your speech by using your fantasy name. Okay? That's it. Have a good one. And you know what? We can kind of make this in this class. I'm a pretty easy grader, provided you do what you're supposed to do. You can get a good grade in this class. Every one of you is starting with at least a C. Provided you follow directions and turn in all the assignments, you'll do very well in this course. You must give every speech. If you fail to give a single speech in this class, I don't care how good a grade you got, you will get an F. You must do all of the speech assignments. All right, we'll see you next time. Have a good one.